X-Men fans, brace yourselves for a blast from the past. Konami's classic X-Men arcade game has returned. While the side-scrolling brawler certainly shows its age in a number of respects, anyone who played this game back in the early 90s will want to hop online and thwart Magneto's evil plans once again.
X-Men.
Konami hasn't touched a thing for this port, bringing the game's US and Japanese versions over with very few bells and whistles. Graphically, the game is identical, which may be a good or bad thing depending on how much of a purist you are. It would have been great to see an enhanced version, but restrictions imposed by Marvel presented such a treatment. Thankfully, a lack of changes has preserved X-Men Arcade's hilarious camp factor. Though most of us probably never realized it when we were kids, the game has some of the most ludicrous dialogue and story this side of Zero Wing's "All your base are belong to us." Prepare to be called an X-Chicken by Magneto, the self-described master of magnet.
X-Chicken!
Sometimes something is so terrible it's fantastic, and that's more or less the case here, if you're able to laugh about such things.
I am Magneto, master of magnet!
A few limited options are present, though none of them alter the game too drastically. You can switch the so-called cabinet of the game between 4-player and 6-player, which affects whether or not you see the game in a widescreen presentation. A few difficulty levels and a level select are included, as is the option to switch between the US and Japanese versions of the game. Fundamentally, these are the same games, though the Japanese version is easier. Enemies will drop power-ups, cutscenes have Japanese titles, and your mutant abilities use your power meter before your health, which is the opposite of the American game. Gameplay for X-Men Arcade mostly consists of mashing the attack button over and over and over again, with a few jumps and special attacks thrown in for good measure. Your enemies are primarily Sentinels, who come in more colors than you'd ever think possible. Magneto apparently didn't have time to improve his robot army, but he sure thought about their fashion statement.
Juggernaut will flatten you!
What does change the game critically is the inclusion of online gameplay. Konami includes 3 options to play. Quick matches will simply get you into the first game the servers find, which is great if you're playing solo. A custom match will allow you to dictate the terms of the game you want, and you'll be able to find something that can host you and all of your friends. Creating a match will allow you to host a game, and determine whether you're playing publicly or privately. It's important to note that only 4 people can play locally on Xbox, while 6 can play together on the PlayStation. Though the online element can take Xbox owners to 6 characters, if you're looking for a party game, keep that in mind. X-Men Arcade is nearly 20 years old and wasn't really designed for a home console experience. That will become very apparent as you play through the repetitive gameplay, laughable story, and cringe-worthy dialogue. But the game's many flaws are also part of its charm, and its short length, about 30 minutes on the hardest difficulty with a few friends, combined with the online elements make this game as addicting as ever. We may not have to bring a roll of quarters to a giant arcade cabinet, but Konami's port is the next best thing. Now go and save the city! For more on X-Men Arcade, including the full written review, head over to IGN.com.